video, I have 10 fun games to play on Zoom. Yes, we are adding some more games to the Zoom games repertoire on my channel. If you are looking for a playlist of Zoom games, I have over, probably at this point, I have over 100. They are linked in the description box down below. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on icebreaker games that you can play on Zoom. Icebreaker games are simply games that help people get to know each other better. I know many of you are going back to virtual online teaching and you're looking for ways to get to know your students. You probably are going to have a whole new class of students, many of whom you don't know. My son will be going to an all-new middle school since we just moved, so I'm hoping that his new teachers will do some kind of activity over Zoom that will help everybody get to know one another better. So that's what these games are perfect for. So now that you know what an icebreaker game is, I need to introduce myself for those of you who have no clue who I am. Hi, my name is Shawn. Welcome on this channel. I am passionate about bringing people closer together through fun and games. The first idea is to create a virtual handshake. Handshakes are important. Do you remember seeing floating around Facebook where teachers would post a sign beside their classroom door and students could choose whether they wanted to fist bump their teacher, high five, give a hug, or a handshake, how they wanted to greet their teacher as they came through the door. We need some sort of virtual handshake so that we can still connect with our students. I know it's weird not being able to physically shake a hand these days. So let's try and create some sense of normalcy through a virtual handshake. This is also helpful because a lot of Zoom calls and Zoom classes begin with everybody muted, rightly as it should be when you are working with children. Everybody should be muted to begin with. So you need a visual way for students to greet one another and students to greet one of you when they jump on the call. So it could be as simple as everybody giving the heart sign when they jump on the call, throw in the peace sign, a series of hand motions. Yes, I just did rock, paper, scissors. Or it could even be a unique dance. Should I dance for you? A unique dance, right? Any motion, but work with your class together so that everybody, all of your students can help come up with the virtual handshake together, or you as a teacher could just mandate what it is at the beginning and then add on to it as the school year goes along. First icebreaker game idea I have for you is called This or That. Many students will be getting to know each other for the first time online in your virtual class, and you as a teacher may also be just now meeting students. So you need a game that will help everybody kind of know a little bit about each other and kind of break the ice, as they say. Who says that? Who says break the ice? The way that you play this or that is you give kids two options, and they have to choose which option they like best. This game can be played with everybody at the same time. You don't need to just ask one student at a time. Everybody can play at the same time. If you prefer option A, everybody raise your hand. If you prefer option B, everybody touch your nose. For example, Nike or Adidas. And then students could raise their hand for Nike, touch their nose for Adidas. Burgers or chicken. Morning person or night owl. The next icebreaker game is called One Word Nickname. Ask kids to choose only one positive word that describes themselves. For example, if I was asked to share one positive word about myself, I would say eyes. I love my eyes. And that is a tree frog. Do you hear it barking? I would choose eyes because I am known for my blue eyes. But students could also name like kind or compassionate, funny, laughs. After all the students have shared their one positive word, teacher, you need to be writing these down. You need to be taking notes, have a class roster in front of you, and be writing all of your students' word down. And then let your kids know that for the rest of this class period, you will be referring to them by their one positive word. The next icebreaker suggestion is to play Would You Rather. Would you rather, and you have an option A or an option B. Usually these are very, very silly and get a ton of laughter. I have 3, I think. would you rather games that you can just use the screen share feature on Zoom and play along with your students, or you can share straight from YouTube and play along with your students. It'd be a great plug and play kind of game. I will post a link to my Would You Rather playlist in the description box down below. If my eyes are a little red, I just got through choking on my chai tea. The next icebreaker game is called Commonalities. This game is great for students to share and find out what things they have in common with other students in their class, but there is little to no risk of what they need to share. So they don't have to share something really deep and really personal. It can be very difficult for a child to talk on Zoom in front of their classmates in person, let alone online. Even more difficult to share something unique about themselves to a group of strangers. So we want to take that riskiness and that vulnerability out of this game. This game also allows kids to find commonalities with one another without having to think too hard. So they won't have to sit there and think of anything really deep or take too much time thinking. It should come easy. Teachers, you will give your students a prompt and students will touch their nose if your statement aligns with what they believe. So for example, teacher, you would say, touch your nose if you love wearing sneakers. I definitely. Touch your nose if you would prefer to be in school learning rather than virtually online. Touch your nose if you have a sibling. All right, you get the idea. You get the idea. Commonalities. This next idea is a get to know you activity that's a little more in depth than a traditional icebreaker game. This activity is called Finish the Sentence. You could have students play this two different ways. You could have them answer the question out loud to the group, so you'd have to have students take turns answering out loud. Or if you don't have a lot of time, you could ask students to answer the sentence using the chat box feature, where every student would write down their answer in the chat box. So an example of a finish the sentence would be, the best first day of school I ever had was, and then students would type in their short answer in the chat box or answer back to you in person, or virtually, not in person. Virtually in person? Is that a thing, virtually in person? Another example of a sentence would be, what I miss most about before the pandemic is... The next activity is called Frankenstein Drawing. This will get your kids laughing. So if you need an activity to kind of pump up the energy and have a good positive mood for your class, this is the game. Instruct students to pull out a sheet of paper and a writing utensil, and they are going to close their eyes through the entire writing activity. Now teacher, you are going to give verbal instructions to your students. For example, you're going to tell them, draw a head. Now remember, students' eyes are closed and they are drawing with their eyes closed. Then you would say, draw a body. So you're going through the different major portions of Frankenstein's body, and then at the end, everybody will hold their sheet of paper up and laugh and joke and see what everybody drew. All right, this next activity is an icebreaker game and is perfect for those kids that have an Instagram account. So older kids, high schoolers, possibly middle schoolers. This game is called Instagram Story. So you're going to need to do a little stalking. Yes, I said stalking. You're going to need to do a little stalking of your student's Instagram account. So if you're willing to take the time, then this could be a great game. Maybe this game would be better for church youth groups than it would be for middle and high school teachers. That is for you to decide. Pick one picture from the student's Instagram account. Use your discretion. Don't pick something that looks embarrassing. You know, it could be maybe it's a background or a picture of the family. Pick something that is friendly and kind of mild and low-key that won't embarrass your students. For this icebreaker, share your screen and pop up one student's Instagram picture at a time and ask them to explain what is happening in this picture. This is an excellent opportunity for the other students in the class to see a brief snippet of what goes on in the student's life. It gives them an opportunity to tell a story about maybe how their summer went or what's happening presently in their life. If done correctly, this is a great way to really get in deep with knowing your students. The next icebreaker is called Deep Thoughts. Now, is this game really deep? It's not going to get you to know your students that well. It's just going to get them to think deeply in a funny way. So if that's the kind of icebreaker you're looking for, then this game might be for you. So you're gonna ask really strange questions such as, is a Pop-Tart a ravioli? Is it? Is it? It kind of could be, right? It kind of could be. Is cereal soup? Is it? Is cereal soup? I mean, we eat it with a spoon, right? We eat it with a spoon. Some other examples are, is water wet? Does a straw have one hole or two? Is cheesecake pie? Could be. It could be. Did I come up with this game on my own? I found it in a youth ministry Facebook group and I thought it was brilliant and funny and wanted to share it all with you. All right, another fun icebreaker game that not necessarily is going to get you to know your students better, but is a lot of fun to play is called Fast Five. Give them 10 seconds to come up with 5 things under a category. Could be movies with animals as the main character, 5 methods of transportation, 5 types of flowers, 5 brands of sneakers. You get the idea. Quickly and fast, think of 5 things in 10 seconds. The next quick icebreaker type of game that is surface level but fun and gets people laughing is called Top 3. This kind of goes along with the previous game, but this time you name as quickly as you can top 3 things in specific categories. For example, what are your top 3 favorite YouTube channels? What are your top 3 condiments to put on a hamburger? What are your top 3 favorite things to do in the summer? I would love to know which of these games you think you could use in your particular setting. Are you a school teacher? Are you a church leader? Are you a counselor? Let me know in the comment section. I love hearing back from you and I love hearing how you are using ideas. If you have an idea that I didn't mention that you would love other people to know about, a game or an activity, let me know that in the comment section as well, and I may just feature your game and give you credit for your game in my next video. If you liked this video, I'd love for you to give a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you need more game ideas for Zoom, because I post videos like this every week. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye! Wear your mask. Wear your mask. Wash your hands and stay 6 feet apart. You know the rules.